I just wanted to give you a little brief history of where we've come so far. There's going to be a few speakers. We'll try to keep this moving pretty quickly today. But in 2002, there was a band of mostly neighbors, right? Mostly neighbors that were compelled to have an art center. So they used this facility as a gallery. And so in 2005, Patty Sim, who owned the property, sold the property to the Carpinteria Art Center. Between 2002 and 2012, this was primarily a gallery. There was no art programs. And I don't know if you guys know, but there are no art programs in the schools here either. So there was a movement to build a facility that would have been a 7,900 square foot building on this property. This, by the way, this property is twice the width as that property over there that we're talking about today. Okay. So, and that was going to cost $6.9 million. It did get approved in mid-2013. And the Art Center hired a feasibility study to see if they could actually raise $6.9 million. And the study came back and said there's no way. I don't know if any of you remember this. Do you guys remember when this looked like a back alley? Right? That building back there was falling apart. The paint was flaking off of it. There were no pretty sails. Right? So it inspired the committee to get moving on programs and facilities. And so they hired their first employee, Sherry Fraser. I don't know if any of you guys remember Sherry Fraser.
Yeah,
they worked there. She was fabulous. She is the one that hooked me in. So thank you, Sherry, I think. And so the branding had to begin. So you like these beautiful logo T-shirts, right? Aren't those nice? So that was part of the rebranding of the Art Center, and also the sales, and also programs that were in place. So until 2012, there were no programs. Today, there are over 30 programs being offered by the Art Center. So let's hear it. So also in 2014, with all of this excitement, membership increased by 374%. That was huge. So now moving along to 2015, Cajun Kitchen. You guys all know Cajun Kitchen used to be in that building right there, right? So they closed their doors, which created a huge opportunity for the Art Center. Board member, I don't know if you were chair or co-chair at the time, but just a board member at the time, David Padrell and others, wanted to take advantage of that opportunity because we all enjoyed this outdoor space. We didn't want to put a big building on it. We thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a physical building over there and then keep this as open community space? So even without any money, not a dime to negotiate with, they approached the owner and they negotiated a contract, and in December 29th, 2015, they closed escrow on that building.
Yeah.
So the cost of the building is $1.5 million, and if you guys have read any of the materials today, we're trying to raise $3.1 million. So I'll let David go over in just a minute how those funds are being used. But this is more than just a 2,600 square foot building. By the way, that's 750 square feet, 2,600 square feet. So this is more than just a building for us. This is a safe place for our kids, for after school programs. It's a place to foster creativity through different art mediums, not just painting, but different mediums. Bring together diverse cultures. We all have different backgrounds. Encourage intergenerational, young with the old activities. A space for community groups to meet throughout the week. And an income generating tool for the Art Center, as we're able to rent out the facility to private parties. And we also know that this is going to help local economy. It's going to help restaurants, hotels, retail stores, and we'll all benefit from the visitors that come to this Art Center. Now 2016 brings us to today. It's a new chapter, building a home for the arts, and it's putting financial feet under what has been positioned here for us. So I'd like to introduce our chair of the Capital Campaign Committee and our co-chair of the Board of Directors, David Padrell. Let's hear for David. Oh, by the way, 2015 Carpinteria of the Year.
Yeah.
I had to mention that.
Valerie.
As I look around here, this is what a kick in the pants this is. This is beautiful. It almost brings me to tears. It's so wonderful. Thank you for being here. I'm honored and I'm humbled to be the voice of the board of directors. Together, this has been an incredible opportunity in front of us. The opportunity to change lives for the better through the arts and arts education. None of this happens without a team, lots of teams. There's one particular team I want to talk about. This group of people, they're committed, they're dedicated people, they're tirelessly giving themselves to the cause. They're my board of directors. Norm Arnold, if you haven't met him, meet him. Gary Campopiano, a hero. Tetta Pilcher, amazing. Amanda McIntyre, wow. Marty Selfridge, she's an amazing woman. Linda Fairley, Charles LeBou, Letty Garcia, Susan Meismer, and Al Clark. That's our board of directors, and I got to tell you, they passionately give up their time. They're all volunteers. Somebody thought for some reason they were paid staff. They're not. In my 8 years on this board of directors, I have never been more excited than I am right now for the future of the arts in Carpinteria, for the children of the Carpinteria Valley, and for the established and emerging artists in our little community. We are so incredibly lucky this moment in time. I also need to acknowledge some other people, some volunteers. They are the backbone of our organization. They quietly do what they do. They either sit in the gallery and they docent, or they're helping out stage events, or they're cleaning, or they're leading tours. The volunteers of our little organization, I'll stack them up against anybody. They're second to none. They're amazing. I'm with you on that one. I need to thank the amazing members and donors of our organization. There are a lot of nonprofits in the world, and we are so grateful for the donations and the memberships. Our revenue comes and it pays for the utility bills, and it pays for insurance and property taxes and all those things. But we're so grateful to you for those donations and those memberships. Finally, I need to thank all of the world-class artists in our little community. We are blessed. We have painters and storytellers, and we've got ceramicists and poets and musicians. We've got jewelers, photographers, songwriters. We've got them all, and we've got them in spades here. We're destined to make Carpinteria one of the best small town arts communities in America. I already know, I've read the book. We're head and shoulders above most of them already. When we have this building, are going to set a new standard for what's great in a small town for arts. And the last group I want to say thanks to are the people who aren't maybe here now, but they've had this vision of an art center in Carpinteria for literally decades. And so I kind of feel guilty because I get to be the guy who's unveiling this building purchase, but they are the ones that had this vision decades ago. And so I want to thank them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the mic back over to Michael and let him introduce the next speaker. We're going to move fast on these speakers, so I apologize for me babbling here.
Interesting, Martini.
Thank you, David. Let's hear for David. Hey, David. Our next speaker is Gib Johnson. Gib has been with the Carpinteria Art Center since the very beginning, 2002. Gib, can you start walking up here, please? She's going to give us a little bit of the history of the Carpinteria Art Center.
Wow. This is delicious.
I've timed this, so check your watch and you can pull a plug if I go any longer, okay? And let me know if you can't hear me. First of all, I'm going to give you a bit about the origins of this art center. In the early 1990s, members of the Carpinteria Valley Art League were frustrated because they had no local venue to show their work. What they needed was a bricks and mortar gallery. Furthermore, these people believed in a complete art center would be ideal. In late 1995, two women, Karen Browdy and Eddie Hastings, were instigators. and they were immediately joined by the following people from the Art League: Patricia Doyle, Sheila Ehrman, Peggy Burnham, Joan Gunther, Millie Jackson, Margaret Hagbert, Claudia Wetliner, Margaret Herr, Joan DeSeal, and Ted Leonard, In September 1996, these artists created the nonprofit Step One Gallery. A month later, during the Avocado Festival, they opened a store just down the street where Rincon Designs is right now. The group and gallery were called Step One, very intentionally, because the goal was Step Two, a fully realized art center.
All right.
Those 12 artists individually pledged $50 a month for the first 5 years to pay the rent. It stayed there for several years. Then, knowing that Step One's lease was expiring, Carpinteria artist Patty Sim and her sister offered to rent the group this cottage right here at 855 Linden. And it was in no way certain that this property would be the eventual site of our art center. In 2001, with the financial assistance of Step One, the nonprofit Carpenter Valley Arts Council was incorporated to carry the vision forward. Soon, Patty Sim and her sister offered to sell this location to CVAC at a very reasonable price. A fundraising campaign began. By May 2005, CVAC owned this location. In 2006, Step One, a gallery, closed on this spot and CVAC took over. We stand here today at what we now call the Carpinteria Arts Center. It's been exactly 20 years since those 11 women and 1 man, heroes all, signed their first lease, putting the gallery on Linden Avenue. Thank you, Karen Browdy and Eddie Hastings, and the 10 other visionary artists who, with their intellect, their time, and many years of financial assistance, made it possible for us to be here today. We must never forget what you did, and may I ask for a round of applause in their honor.
Thank you, Gib. All right, our next speaker today, isn't she cute? She's right over here. Her name is Chloe Papke. Chloe is the winner of the Carpinteria Women's Club 2016 Student Art Contest. The importance of art in schools and how art has influenced her life. She is now studying at Santa Barbara City College. Chloe, please come to the stage. Welcome, Chloe, everyone.
Wow, I thought I was nervous, and then I got up here, and now I'm like 10 times more nervous. So let's
It's all good.
do this. Okay. So for as long as I can remember, I have loved art. It's always been like at the core of who I am. I can remember when I was in preschool, there are pictures of me literally covered in paint. I decided to paint myself instead of the picture on the mural. It's really funny. I don't know why they let me paint after that. So I'm here. I'm supposed to give a speech about why art is important in schools, but I'm sure all of you already know that. In high school, I mean, I didn't particularly enjoy it, but the reason I went was for my ceramics class, basically. If it wasn't for art, I probably wouldn't have graduated, or I wouldn't have gone to school. So, through the ceramics program, I learned that I could create something with my mind. I wasn't good at drawing, I wasn't good at painting, not the best writer, but I can make things with clay that I can like imagine in my head and just make them, and that's so fulfilling to me, and it's just so important to me. And I think that if we encourage art in schools, we can encourage that in other people as well, because I think everyone should find something that's important to them and that gives them purpose, and that's what art really does for me. So
Yeah.
you got it. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chloe. All right, our next presenter, our next speaker is Letty Garcia. The topic is the power of arts in a community. Letty works at UCSB. She is the program and PR manager at the UCSB Arts, Design, and Architecture Museum. Please welcome Letty. She is also a board member of the Carpinteria Art Center. Let's hear for Letty.
All right, Letty.
Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you here. This is fantastic. Can you hear me, everybody? All right, this is great. I am so excited and happy to be here with you all. I would like to share with you, because I'm sure that you will all be able to resonate with what I'm about to read to you, just to reconfirm what we already know, what's already been happening here in Carpinteria. Instinctively, we believe in art and arts education and a good, strong community. And I just want you to hear it not from me, but from Stanford University. There is no discipline that nurtures and sparks the cognitive ability to imagine and unleashes creativity and innovation more than arts and culture. There is no approach that breaks barriers, connects across cultural differences, and engages our shared values more than arts and culture. There is no investment that connects us to each other, moves us to action, and strengthens our ability to make collective choices more than arts and culture. Haven't we been doing all of that, folks?
Yeah.
I say yes. I say yes.
Right.
Carpinteria is a great place to be. We have outgrown our former home and are ready to welcome a new, better, bigger home so that we can keep doing more of this. Thank you so much.
All right, Letty.
All right, thank you, Letty. Our next speaker is Mayor Greg Hardy, and his topic is the importance of a community center that celebrates the arts. Greg?
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael. This is the coolest stage I've ever been on. It's got to be the creative mind of John Wilbrand, I would guess. Thank you to the Community Arts Center for the privilege of speaking today. We are so blessed to have this wonderful gym in our beautiful town. As a community arts center is so much more than a building that houses works of art. It bridges the gap between cultures, ages, genders, building social networks and attachments to a community. It creates bonds, friendships, a sense of belonging, and promotes volunteerism. It also provides a safe and nurturing place for our youth to have an outlet for their creativity and collaboration. A community arts center is good for our economy as it brings outsiders into our town, allowing our merchants to benefit. There are so many benefits. It is so encouraging to look out into this enthusiastic and supportive audience and realize that this dream is going to become a reality. Deep Carpinteria. As you all know, amazing things happen when we work together. Thank you very much.
All right, Greg. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Greg Hardy. Our next speaker is Linda Fairley, and she's talking the subject, leaving a legacy by making a stretch contribution. And it's not a big secret, but it hasn't been talked about much. She has personally gifted $250,000
Whoa.
for this campaign. Yeah. So let's hear it for Linda. Linda?
Well, I'm a newcomer to Carpinteria. I lived in Santa Barbara for 40 years. I worked at Santa Barbara City College. And when I came here a few years ago, I wanted to become involved in something. And I really didn't know what. But I found myself drawn into this art center and buying artwork. We have Patty Sims, we have Chloe, we have Zoe, we have Karen Browdy in our home. And all of a sudden I realized this was more than just an art center. It was a place for education to take part. And it just came to my heart that things are really good here. So I made an appointment with David, and I made sure that the Art Center was really financially secure, and it was really secure, because I'd been on other boards that weren't secure. I knew the difference. And so he asked me to be on the board, and then on fundraising, and then as we were making these speeches to all of you, all of a sudden I realized I needed to do it too. And I thought, this is going to be a big stretch for me, but I've never had my name on anything. And so I decided I was going to have my name here. It was going to say the Linda Fairley Courtyard, so that everyone could do something. And this is only made possible because this is over 3 years, so it makes it easier. So all of you can make a little stretch contribution, make it over 3 years, that's just fine. And this is a community center, it's not just for arts. In fact, I've taken 2 classes here, and I am not an artist. Beth Shore did an abstract art, and Shelley Lennox a glass fusing, and I am having the time of my life, and I am not an artist, but I'm having more fun. So get involved and have fun with me.
Wow, Linda, what a story. Thank you. Thank you so much. So our next speaker has already been up here, Hog, David Powdrell. So I'm going to reintroduce him, and he's going to help us see what the vision past 2016 is for the Art Center, and how this Art Center legitimately could become one of the best small-town art centers in the country.
Wow.
David Powdrell.
Let's go for it.
How do we do that? I better go to page 2. Well, I think it becomes one of the best small-town art centers by celebrating all of the arts and all of the artists. And we celebrate with the children. We give the children an opportunity for a safe environment to study the arts. We've got this program committee that's got these wonderful visions and ideas coming up. And there's a lot of people coming to us now saying, hey, why don't I teach a class on this, and why don't I teach a class on that? There goes my pages. But it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, this is the community's art center. And that's the thing that we're trying to stress here today. This is your art center. I'm hoping that all of you will consider being part of this in whatever capacity you can. And whether that's $5 or $50 or $1,000 or $100,000, you'll find what's comfortable for you. And I just want you to be able to walk down the street with your friends and say, that's my art center. That's my art center. That's my art center. Are we with me on this one?
Yeah.
So, there's enough of the speeches. I want to introduce you our new executive director, Rebecca Stebbins, and Ted Rhodes. I want to introduce Ted Rhodes and our newest employee, Hawkins. Christina, thank you. I just met her today. I'm so excited. So we've got an incredible crew of people that are involved in this. Enough of the speeches. You probably all want to get on to other things. How much do we have? Does anybody know how much? How much? Okay, we have a $3.1 million capital campaign. We are at, as of today, $1,970,080. That's where we are as of today. And I gotta tell you, that just, to say that to you, it knocks my socks off. That's happened. We started this capital campaign on January 1st, 2016. That's 10 months now. We've raised just under $2 million. It floors me, the support in this town. This is 92% of those dollars have come from individuals that live in Carpinteria. It's just, here's what I know about Carpinteria. When Carpinteria sets its mind to something, get out of the way, because it's going to happen. It happened on the Bluffs, and it is happening now on Phase 3, which I'm a huge supporter. We all are big supporters of that. And the Franklin Trail, what a great asset to our community that is. Boys and Girls Club, Women's Club, Girls Inc. There are so many great things in this little town. Friends of the Library, I'm a huge fan of those folks doing what they're doing for the new computers for the kids. There are so many great things, and this little town does what it sets its mind to. So when it sets its mind, and it's already told me, it told me before we even closed escrow on this property, checks were coming in massive checks. And they said, if you keep this open space and you buy that building, we're in. And the checks came flying in, and they've been flying in ever since. So I hope you'll be one of those checks coming in. We'd love to have it. And thanks for supporting the Art Center. I just need to thank you guys for being here and for doing that.
Thank you, David. What a leader. He's inspiring. He's someone to get behind. He's always been my motivation for being involved with the Carpinteria Art Center. So thank you for that. So I would just like to say, have you guys seen the thermometer over here? Is that cool? Is that really cool? Yes. All those people standing on each other's shoulder building a community art center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Very cool. The better view is from the street. You can see the faces. We're not quite sure how it's going to weather when it rains. It doesn't rain in Carpinteria. It snows once a year, right? Here, right on the... Okay, so now it's all about time, talent, and treasure. That's what nonprofits need. And today we're going to focus on the treasure portion of it. So we, the families that enjoy living in this community, Carpinteria, have the responsibility to carry this quality of life forward for other generations. And so, as David said, we've raised $1.9 million roughly. And so today we have two financial goals. We have a goal for today. We would like to surpass the $2 million mark today.
Whoa.
So that means $30,000 in pledges today.
Ooh.
So in a little while, we're going to pass around envelopes and a pen. And so you can carefully consider what you're able to do. Our second goal is $3.1 million by December of 2017 next year. So when we took out the loan, it was an interest-only loan on that building, and we were forced to pay 2 years of interest only on that loan. So that ends December 31st next year, and we want to have all the funding in place to pay that off so we don't have a dime of interest that we don't need to pay. So, do we have our volunteers with pledge packets? Don't look at me like this is a surprise. So, whoever is in front of a pledge packet, would you please give them to small children because they're very convincing. And children, when you pass them out, just give them that big sigh. Please give me money. Okay. It's so easy to make a pledge. I mean, come on. We pay $3 for a cup of coffee, right? $3 for a cup of coffee. Could you take maybe 2 weeks worth of coffee and say, you know, I'll be willing to pledge that much? Right? Or maybe you can do more. Maybe you might say 1 car payment. I can make 1 car payment worth of pledge. Would that be within your budget to do? Right? So a car payment might be anywhere between $150 to $600. That would be a significant pledge to this campaign. Or maybe you'd be willing to pledge something more equivalent to 1 month's rent or 1 month's mortgage. Right? That could be anywhere between $800 to $8,000. If you could find a way to make 1 more payment, that would be a significant pledge to this art center. Should I go higher? Okay. Some of you, okay, I'm going higher. One last one. Maybe you'd like to leave a legacy. If you're interested in leaving a legacy of $10,000 or more, you get a permanent place on the plaque that will be inside the building's front door forevermore. And so I would recommend that you come talk to David, and he'll plan a meeting to discuss the legacy that you would like to leave.
Can I say something?
Yeah. This is Ted Rhodes.
Thank you, Michael. For me, what I would really like to see coming out of today, besides seeing all you guys supporting the arts, is we need your help to be our ambassadors, and we have already reached the people that are familiar with what we're doing. And many of you have already given to the campaign, so we don't necessarily expect you to give right away again, but we need for you to brainstorm. We need some names. We need help. We need elbow grease on this. Many of you know me from the Carpinteria Bluffs campaign. Many of you are involved on that. We are the little town that could, but this is another challenge. But we need your help more than just financially. There's people you know that we don't know, so please see anyone with a shirt, or David and I, Rebecca. That's what I hope to get out of today, is getting a bigger army of people here to help us this next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you. Let's hear for Ted. And as David said earlier, we want you to be able to walk by the building drive by the building and say, that's my art center. And you get that connection because even if it's a $10 donation or a $1,000 or a $100,000 donation, you'll have that same feeling when you say, that's my art center. So wherever you are in your ability to pledge, your pledges are deeply appreciated. My name is Michael Kramer. It's been an honor to be your MC today. And for the rest of the day, we're going to have music back, Art. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Ronaldo's is still going to have a lot of food back there, so I'm going to pony up and get a nice meal. David, you have another announcement?
One last thought on that, on those little handout things. If you make a pledge at the end of the thing this evening, we're going to pull 10 of them out, and 10 people will be given a T-shirt, a Michael Kramer kind of a T-shirt. So we'll have those available too. So again, thank you all for your time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the arts, and let's do this together. Are you with me? Let's get some more music. More music and frivolity, and let's have some fun stuff going on. We are a 501c3.
The checks are rolling in. The first one just arrived. Thank you.